Hey guys, this is lesson 6.6 called Compare Fractions Using Benchmarks. Our essential question is how can you use benchmarks to compare fractions? So we're going to start with unlock the problem. David made a popcorn snack. He mixed 5/8 gallon of popcorn with a half a gallon of dried apple rings. Did he use more dried apple rings or more popcorn? So basically what they're asking you to do is they're asking you to compare what's more, 5/8 or a half. Okay, so if we have those fraction tiles, make sure you get those out. And I want you to build 1/2, and I want you to build what 5/8 looks like. So let's see. Here's 1/2, and here's 5/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, sorry, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was just in the zone of counting, apparently. Okay, so here's 5/8 right here, and then this is what 1/2 looks like. So you can already tell that 5/8 is going to be bigger than a half. Okay, so use fraction tiles to compare and record on the model below. Okay, so we can conclude from looking at those fraction tiles and just knowing what benchmark is something that you just know. Like 4/8 is a half. That's something that you should try to like memorize. Or that what else is another easy one? Let's see. Or that 2/8 can fit in a fourth, okay, and 4/8 can fit in a half. Okay, so just try to see if you can remember those things, or those little things right there. So David used more. An alligator's gonna eat the bigger fraction. More popcorn. Okay, then he did the dried apple rings. Alright, number 1, write 5 fractions equivalent to a half. What is the relationship between the numerator and the denominator of fractions equivalent to 1/2? So I'm going to type her out here. Okay, so some possible answers that are also equal to a half, like we talked about here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4/8 is the same as a half, so I'm going to write that down. 2/4 is also the same as a half. Here's what 2/4 looks like. Here's a fourth and here's a fourth. Okay, that matches up with a half. So I write 2/4. Another one could be 3/6. 3/6. If we look here, 1, 2, 3 also follows the line of a half, so I could put those 3/6 pieces on top of this half tile, and it will work out, or it will come out evenly. Some more, and as I'm saying these, I want you to be building these. 5, 10. Whoops, wonder why that's different there. Okay, 5/10 would also be another one, so I want you to make that with your fraction tiles. And then also 6/12, make that one too so you can see it. And if you take a look at the pattern here that we've got with all of these numbers, the numerator, or top number, is half the denominator. Okay, so notice how the top number is always half of like the denominator. 2's half of 4, 3's half of 6, 5's half of 10, and so forth. Number 2, how many 8's are equivalent to 1/2? This is one of those that I wanted you to see if you can remember. So here's a half right here, and how many 8's does it take to put perfectly on top of the 1/2 tile? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4 of them would fit on top of that tile right there. So 4/8. There we go. 8, or you could write it like this. Number 3, how can you compare 5/8 and 1/2 without using the model? If you just know that 4/8 is equivalent or the same, there we go. equivalent to 1/2. So 4/8 is equivalent to 1/2, and then since 5/8 is more than 4/8, so then you know that it's got to be more than half. That's the part, that's the benchmark that we're running into, or that you're going to hear is just things that you know off the top of your head. You can always go to. You always know what a half of something looks like, and then you always know that 4/8 is the same as a half. And you just get to know that by working with those numbers. Okay. Okay, so yep, here we go. We're talking about benchmarks. A benchmark is a known size or amount that helps you understand a different size or amount. You can use 1/2 as a benchmark to help you compare fractions. So for example, a family hiked the same mountain trail. Evie and her father hiked, can't see, so I have to look at my book, 5/12 of the trail before they stopped for lunch. Jill and her mother hiked 9/10 of the trail before they stopped for lunch. Well, who hiked farther before lunch? So basically, we're trying to compare 5/12 and 9/10 to our benchmark of a half. So if I come to this little step 1, compare 5/12 to 1/2, you can go ahead and start building 5/12 with your tiles. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what 5/12 looks like. And we already know that this is what our half bar looks like. So if we could put that half bar on top, we would be a 12th short. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we need 6/12 to be the same as a half. So we already kind of have that in our heads. So let's go ahead and shade what that looks like. Okay, so I'm going to shade in 5/12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, that's what 5/12 looks like. Then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to shade 9/10. But first I'm going to have you guys take a look at the fractions and see what that looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's what 9/10 looks like, and here's what just a half looks like. So we already can see that 9/10 is going to be more. Okay, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then there's 9. Okay, so just going back to here, I knew that 1/2 was bigger, and then over here I found out that 9/10 was bigger than a half. So since 5/12 is less than 1/2 and 9/10 is greater than 1/2. So you know that 5/12 is less than 9/10. So Jill and her mom hiked farther before lunch. So number 4, explain how you can tell 5/12 is less than 1/2 without using a model. We know that 6/12 is the same as, I should probably use the right vocabulary, is equivalent to 1/2, and then since 5 is less than 6, 5/12 is less than 6/12 or a half. Okay? And then number 5, I'm just going to write number 5 over here since my thing's a little bit small. Explain how you can tell 7/10 is greater than 1/2 without using a model. 5/10 is equivalent to 1/2, and then since 7 is greater than 5, 7/10. Oh, did I have it? 7/10, yeah, I'm kind of it, is greater than 5/10, or half. Okay. Alright, so like I said, just kind of use some of those benchmarks, kind of know what a half looks like, and then you can kind of figure out where those other fractions lie. Just think about 9 out of 10, that's 9 spaces filled out of 10, so that thing is almost full. Okay, look at 5 over 12. That's not even half. 5 out of 10 is half. You know, if you had 5 or 10 pieces and then 5 was filled out of 10, that would be half. So thinking about 5 out of 12, that's not quite half. So you would know that 9/10 is bigger because that fraction is almost full, almost close to a whole, which would be 10 out of 10. Alright, let's go to this piece here, share and show. Okay, compare 2/5 and 1/8, right, less than or greater than. So we have our benchmark here already. We have 1/2, and we're trying to figure out what 2/5 looks like. So here's 1/5, and then there's 2/5. Okay, 2 pieces are filled out of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, then we'll come over here, and we have 8, and we're comparing only 1/8, so we have only one piece filled in there for 1/8. So just taking a look at this, we know that 2/5 is bigger than 1/8. If you want to check with your tiles, here's what 2/5 looks like, and then here's what 1/8 looks like. Okay. Alright, compare 1/2 and 4/6. Okay, so if I have half there, one piece is filled in, or 4 out of, whoops, 4 to 6, 1, 2, 3, okay, I have 4 filled in, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, I would know that 4/6 is greater. 3/10 or a half, okay, so 3 out of 10 is not filled in very much, where a half, that's more that's filled in. Okay, that would be, so that would half would be greater. 11 out of 12 or 4 out of 8. Well, 4 out of 8 is only half filled. 11 out of 12 is more that's filled in, so that's going to be greater. 5/8 over 2 over 2/5. Okay, 5 out of 8 is filled in more than 2/5, and we can just double check that one. Let's see, 5/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that's over half. And then 2/5. Here's what a fifth likes, 1, 2. Okay, so 5/8, 2/5, so 5/8 is more. Okay. Alright, so I don't think we need really any more practice as long as you guys, use your fraction tiles. So I'm going to bring you right here to the homework. Okay, so you guys are just going to write if it's greater than or less than, and just think about 1/2 is your benchmark, and see if you can compare it to that to help you get to your answer. Let's see, how will we do problems? 13 should be okay. Yep, 14 should be okay. Okay. Alright, if you have any questions, please let me know. Look back on some of the questions also if you need to rewatch anything. Yeah, so alright. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Thanks.